we are taking a look at the Dr. Ellie Sattler character from the Unmatched games. Now, Dr. Sattler is one of the two characters from the Dr. Sattler vs. T-Rex Jurassic Park set. And if you are familiar with the original Jurassic Park film, you'll know that she was a paleobotanist. So she was into all of the botany things there. And her sidekick was the chaotician, Dr. Ian Malcolm. And some of you are looking at this set and you're like, wait a minute, isn't there something missing from this set? Well, yes, indeed there is. Now with this set, you could just buy it normally and get the sidekick token here, which does have this beautiful Jeff Goldblum image on it there. But there was a special item that could be bought beforehand that was a limited edition sidekick minifigure for Ian Malcolm. Of course, it does have him in this wonderfully famous pose here. Yes, it is the sexy Goldblum, because yeah, why would you not buy this if this was an option? I mean, just look at how great and beautiful this Jeff Goldblum is here. And of course, since this is an official figure put out by Restoration Games, Dr. Malcolm is going to get his very own thumbnail. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get on to actually looking at the deck here. Which Goldblum to go with? Dr. Ellie Sattler is a melee character. She has a health of 13 and of course has Dr. Ian Malcolm as her sidekick with a health of 7. They have a move of 2. The special ability, after Dr. Sattler or Dr. Malcolm move, place an insight token in their new space. You have 5 insight tokens. All right, 5 insight tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, well, they actually give you some extra tokens in case you lose one. But you only have the 5 that you actually use during the game. And of course, we have the pink and the purple color schemes, which were the colors of her outfit that she had. We have the botany stuff going on up here, and then the chaos stuff going on down there. I really like this card design. That's just really great. So looking at these insight tokens here, we have a special card just for them. So this card tells you a bit of what's going on with the insight tokens. But also, in addition to this card, it's important to read the rules that came along with this set, because they give you some information about Dr. Sattler's insight tokens. So the way this works is anytime they move, you will have Dr. Sattler and, you have to pick one of you. Here, we'll go with you. And Ian Malcolm in their starting positions here. So if you were to maneuver, you would put one of your insight tokens in their new space. The insight tokens can't move. They can only be removed by card effect. So once you have all 5 of them out there, they are all 5 on the board. These can go onto any space. It doesn't matter if there are other tokens on them. That means if you're playing with Invisible Man, Spike, or Muldoon, you can still place tokens on top of their other tokens. You can also place insight tokens on top of insight tokens. If you go back to a space, you put a new one back on there. What do these insight tokens do? Well, nothing in and of themselves. It is just card effects that let you interact with them. We're now going to go ahead and take a look at the deck here and see what all we have going on here with Dr. Sattler. You never had control. That's the illusion. Okay, you're going to see that aside from the common cards, that every card in this deck has a title that is a line or reference from the original Jurassic Park film. So, like, pretty much all of them. Okay, this is an attack of 2. During combat, increase the value of this card by the number of insight tokens on the board. remove all insight tokens from the board. So this ramps it up depending on how many you have out there. So if you can play this when you have all 5 of them out, it turns into a 7, which is pretty good if it doesn't get fainted. So this is going to be the only attack card in her deck, which is going to put her up there with Spike for having a very low number of attack cards and just a gob of versatiles. Although she does have some defense cards in here, unlike Spike. Woman inherits the earth. This is a versatile of 2. Immediately draw 1 card. Dr. Sattler recovers health equal to the number of insight tokens on the board. Remove all insight tokens from the board. Okay, these 3 cards right here. If you have 5 insight tokens out every time you play these, that is 15 health that you get off of these 3 cards right here. If you can stop these from being canceled. Now they do all remove the insight tokens from the board, so you can't play them like, sequentially there. You're going to have to run around a little bit and get some other tokens on the board. Also, additionally, I do really like this card art. It's a very kind of abstract thing there. Violently if necessary. Versatile of 3. After combat, deal 2 damage to each opposing fighter on or adjacent to a space with an insight token. I think we're back in business. Versatile of 0. The value of this card is equal to the number of cards in your hand. Now, this is a very interesting effect. It's a card effect that we all assumed was going to be showing up at some point. But it's just, straight up however many cards you have in your hand. So, and so that's kind of a deterrent for them to come and hit you when you have a bunch of cards in hand, because this could be a stupid defense, or you could turn around and really hit hard with this. Sexism in survival situations. A versatile of 1. During combat, if the opposing fighter is a hero, the value of this card is 4 instead. So, yeah, this is much better against heroes than sidekicks. With this having a value of 1, I don't know why you would play it against a sidekick. After combat, you may move Dr. Sattler 1 space. All right, now we're going into Dr. Ian Malcolm's cards here. Life finds a way. This is a versatile of 2. After combat, your opponent discards the top card of their deck. Dr. Malcolm and Dr. Sattler recover health equal to that card's boost value. Well, okay, this does quite a bit here. So this has healing in it, and this has a discard effect in it, and a nasty discard effect, because this is pulling a card off the top of their deck, which means they never even get to spend a turn to maneuver and grab that. So it's like pushing them closer to exhaustion, making them lose a card, and getting some more healing, which this will heal both Sattler and Malcolm, which this is right now the most potential healing for a sidekick in the game. And you got to think you've already got 15 potential healing. You got this here, which could potentially get you like a 6 if you were lucky, or an 8 against certain fighters. So yeah, there is a ton of healing in this deck. All right, this is 2 copies of this, which is going to be unique for Dr. Malcolm. Chaotician. This is a versatile of 2. After combat, place an insight token in any space. There's 1 copy of this. Okay, well, placing an insight token could be good, I suppose. Oh, here we go. The future X Mrs. Malcolm. A scheme, draw 2 cards. Place an insight token in Dr. Malcolm's space and gain an action. So this just gives you some cards and lets you drop a insight token down. And of course it gives you an action. This is the only scheme in Dr. Sattler's deck. And since it has both card draw and an action gain on it, it is very much not a pass. So she has no passes. Hey! This is a versatile of 3. After combat, move your other fighter up to 4 spaces. This, of course, is a really great thematic card here, because, he's running around distracting the other person with the flare there, so that their other character can run along and move elsewhere, although this isn't Ian Malcolm specific there, as that can be played by Sattler, but that is another one-off card. Must go faster. Reversal of 3 after combat. If you won the combat, you may place Dr. Malcolm and Dr. Sattler in any space. Let you just move them along anywhere. Speaking of this, since this says place, I did not specifically mention this earlier, but the insight tokens, anytime that they are moved, you get to place an insight token down. So that is move by maneuver or move by card effect, and that is by your card effects or your opponent's card effects. However, if it says place, you do not put it down because that is placing and not moving. It's kind of a nitpicky little difference there, but you know, it's important to keep track of that stuff. Getting into some other innies here with multiple copies. The concept of attraction. This is a defense of 2. You may place your fighter in any space with an insight token after combat. So this just lets you kind of teleport around. Once again, one of the cards that cares about where those insight tokens are. Lock the doors, another defense of 2. After combat, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. Move your fighter up to 2 spaces. So this is just deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. It does not care about adjacency. So as long as this card is not canceled or ignored by someone like Khonshu, that 2 damage will go off, and you get to do the movement as well for your fighter. Of course, that could be played by either Dr. Sattler or Dr. Malcolm. We see we have 3 copies of Feint, which is a pretty standard thing here. Reversal of 2. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. And lastly, we have two copies of Regroup. Huh? Okay, 2 copies of Regroup. Well, reversal of 1 after combat, draw 1 card. If you won the combat, draw 2 cards instead. Yes, because everyone does love some wonderful, wonderful ice cream when, you know, having to escape from crazy dinosaurs. Well, we're going to see that she has a lot of cards that play with these insight tokens. And the importance of this is going to be how quickly you can get insight tokens placed out there on the board. You want to get them dropped out rather quickly at the start of the game or rather quickly after one of your cards that removes them. So when Dr. Malcolm is alive, you can get insight tokens out on the board a lot faster than Dr. Sattler by herself. And this is probably the most important function that Dr. Malcolm has in this game, is just aiding and getting those insight tokens out there, because a double maneuver can get 4 of those put out on the board. So there's 4 of your 5 right now. So even after playing something like You Never Had Control, That's the Illusion, or like Woman Inherits the Earth, you could get those back out really, really fast after removing them. If you're going to play one of these cards that removes all of the insight tokens, don't be sitting around with like Woman Inherits the Earth as your only defense card when you don't have any tokens on the board, because you're going to want to get those back, because you're going to want to have some sort of defense. And this really, you kind of need this a lot as a big hitter. Now the other oddity in this deck is going to be what is going on with Dr. Malcolm and these other cards here. We've got, between him and these 2 innies here, we've got 4 one-off cards here that there are only 1 copy of. This one scheme, which can be helpful, but only really, there's 1 copy of it, so that is kind of strange. And these one-offs are kind of split between gaining insight and movement of some sort. It's just really odd having like all of these one-offs in here. And I know that let them get a lot more references to the film in there, and also let them get a lot more of the artwork in there. This has got to be one of the few any cards that has just the sidekick on it and not the hero. But yeah, this just It's just really weird. And I know they're kind of playing into the whole chaotician thing. And so he's got the chaos theory and he's got these random cards that come out, but I don't know that that's really particularly good for you. So it's just strange having those in there, and it makes him a little bit harder sidekick to really utilize. But once again, his big role really isn't those cards. His big role are these insight tokens. You want to get those things out on the board. The main thing you're going to have with Dr. Sattler is being able to pull these cards off. How well you can pull off Woman Inherits the Earth, and how well you can pull off You Never Had Control. If you can get those with a bunch of insight on the board with them, I think you can do pretty well. Particularly, anybody's going to have trouble if you pull all those off, and especially Life Finds a Way along with it. If you can pull all that healing off there, this is just going to be really difficult to be able to take her down. And so that is a look at Dr. Sattler. Do you have any thoughts about this? Well, go down into the comment section and let us know what you think down there. You can give this video a thumbs up and a like. And you can also go to my channel and subscribe so you can see all the videos that I post so you don't miss anything. We will see you around next time.